with your main Chip Washington. When it comes to information, the main got an arsenal. Bring you up to speed with what you need. He's a local and nationwide news feed. Let's talk about it. Dialect to do something about it. Chip got the flow wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And here we go on this Monday evening in the city after a very beautiful day. Wouldn't you agree? Of course you would. It's 6 o'clock straight up, which means, ladies and gentlemen, yes, indeed, it is time for another edition of Real Talk Memphis. Glad to have you with us. I am your humble host. My name is Chip Washington. Glad to be here as well. It's always nice, when you can hit the highways and you don't have any incidents or accidents or anything else, and you get to your destination on point. The way things should be. So I hope you had a good weekend. It was hot this weekend, no doubt about that. Today was better. I think we were in the maybe upper 80s, mid to upper 80s today, but less on the humidity scale. It wasn't so miserable outside at all. And we'll be dealing with that for the next 3 days before. So this week ought to be relatively mild from what I'm remembering on the forecast. So get out and enjoy yourself. But for the next hour, you need to be hanging around here because, of course, we are going to provide you with some good information and news you can use and all kind of good things just like that. Let me run down well, first of all, how do you get this fine piece of radio broadcasting? Well, I'm glad you asked. Of course, if you're listening to us, you know we're on 91.7 on your FM dial. You can also catch us on the WYXR app live. We're also on the TuneIn app. Just put don't put WYX. I'll put Real Talk Memphis, and you should be able to pick me up. And then, of course, we are live streaming tonight on Facebook. And when the show posts in the next day or two, you will be able to find us on YouTube. And as we are a podcast, and I know by now you already know that we are a podcast, you can pick us up wherever you get your podcast. Very good. Now that we got all that out of the way, a quick shot at the rundown for the show this evening. My first guest is Amy Schaftlein. Amy, of course, is the executive director of United Housing, and they were participating in a big project that happened a few days ago over in Orange Mound in terms of providing, being one of the partners to help provide some affordable housing in that historic area. And Amy's going to talk to us a little bit about their role at United Housing. It's a big deal. It's a cooperative effort with the city of Memphis, housing, and whatever other area that is, and a nonprofit organization called A Cup of Tea, I believe there is. So Amy will talk with us. She's actually in studio with me live, so we're talking just a couple of minutes. A little bit later on, we will be talking with Bacarra Mauldin. If that name sounds familiar, she is the interim CEO of MATA. And MATA is in the front and center in the headlines today. Of course, they had to suspend the downtown trolley service yesterday. And we got word this afternoon that there are going to be some more layoffs in terms of trying to reduce a major debt that they have. And Bacarra is going to join me in a little bit to talk about all that. And a little bit later on, we are going to talk to one of the newly elected school board members in District 2. Natalie McKinney will join me in a little bit and tell me about what she's looking forward to as she assumes the new position in September. I think September 1st is when they do their thing. But let me get to the business at hand here. Amy Schaftlein, as I said, is the executive director of United Housing. And, of course, This is, housing, affordable housing in this city is very difficult to come by. There are way more people out here who want the chance at home ownership, but for various reasons cannot afford it. Amy heads an organization that helps many people in regards to that, but was a part of a collaborative effort last week, and she joins me now in studio. Amy, it's good to see you. Welcome to Real Talk.
It's great to see you.
Yes, it's great to see you
in this studio.
Absolutely,
I love it.
We both have a little familiarity with this studio,
yep.
and for those of you who listen faithfully to this radio station, Amy, full disclosure, she is the host of Sonosphere, which was on about 2 hours ago.
That's right. We're 4 to 5.
4 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lola comes on, and then we come on. Boy, we're all just one big
That's
happy
right.
family.
That's right.
Well, listen, it's great to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, talk a little bit about this effort between the city of Memphis and this nonprofit group, A Cup of Tea, donating I guess it was the land. And then your part in all of this.
Right.
And why is this so important? It's a big deal.
It's really important. You mentioned at the top of the show that affordable housing is hard to come by because of many, many different issues. Of course, the private property rights and all those things, but also just because, building in infill lots in the city, there's a lot of unknowns, and those unknowns for builders can be expensive, and they can be risky. And so those are the things that a lot of folks try to avoid, especially when it comes to housing, because the margins can be small for home builders anyway. So, we have to do this because we are a nonprofit. We've been doing this work for 30 years. We help folks get access to home financing as well as building the homes. We also provide education and counseling around your personal finance, credit coaching, all of those things, with a goal to become a homeowner. That's what we've been doing for the last 30 years.
So as I mentioned, this is a collaborative effort with the city and this organization, A Cup of Tea. How did all this come together?
So, like I mentioned, we help folks fix up their homes, and My Cup of Tea is a nonprofit business in Orange Mound, and they employ mostly women from the neighborhood, and one of their employees actually got a home repair loan with United Housing
through you all,
through us. As she became a homeowner. She actually spoke at our event. Cheryl Henderson, she's awesome. She's a board member now, so she supports us in many ways as we support her and her family. So because of that relationship, and in Memphis everything's relationship driven and building, and so because of that relationship, they reached out to us, they being My Cup of Tea, and said, we have this lot that we've acquired because we know that it's really hard for a lot of our employees to get access to stable housing. And we know that you provide some home ownership, transitioning to home ownership and those kinds of services. So we would love to work with y'all on getting something done on this lot. And so that's how it started.
That's and again, so you have the lots now. I mean, so and I saw the groundbreaking, which is obviously very exciting. How many homes are we talking about here?
Well, so for this project is a smaller project. There's going to be 4 homes on this one lot, and then we have a 5th home that we're going to build down the street. So, but we've renovated hundreds of homes during our tenure, since our inception in the mid '90s, and we usually do around 15 to 25 homes a year. Sometimes less. Depending. So, again, this is why it's really hard to do. And it's just a drop in the bucket for what the need is. Yeah. But this project is really exciting. We have 4 going up, like I mentioned. They're all going to be opportunities for families to own. And we, again, the cost to build may not meet the appraised value of these homes. So we have to work with the City of Memphis Housing and Community Development to provide that subsidy to close that gap. So Director Ashley Cash was there, and of course our Mayor Paul Young was there, and our council Congressman was also there.
Yeah, so, Steve Combs there, which to me tells me this is the big deal. Orange Mound is one of our most cherished historical communities. Why Orange Mound? Is that an area that you all sort of as an organization have targeted in trying to improve things out there?
Well, we don't have one neighborhood that we really focus in on. We cover all of Shelby County, but I will say that we do focus on infill development, existing neighborhoods. historic neighborhoods like Orange Mound, they're known for having this home ownership as a prideful thing. You know, this owning your home in Orange Mound it was historical, especially in the African American community. And again, we were just doing work with our home repair loans. We've done works with rehabs in the neighborhood before. And so there was already this sort of culture of home ownership in the neighborhood. And so it just made sense for us to work with My Cup of Tea and then with the city for this project.
Mayor Young was obviously very excited about it, and this is one of the things that he ran on. I mean, obviously, to get Memphis kind of up to code in all this, the housing area is a very big deal. But this number 38,000, I believe, was that the number that he mentioned? Is that the number of people who are? I mean, is that just? What is that? That number is the number of people looking for homes, or can't? Is that where we are?
That number, I believe, is the number of homes that is affordable to someone making $45,000 to $50,000 a year.
Right. Okay.
So it's
economically
there is a gap in housing pricing. The way that pricing is right now, the rents have gone up.
Yes.
You know, you're seeing the interest rates have made mortgages higher. Also, insurance has made it higher across the board for homeowners and rental property owners. And so all of these costs going up continues to create this gap because the wages have not, come up as much. The
gap is bigger and bigger because
it got bigger because of that. Right.
Yeah. And the economics play a lot in this. You know, I've talked in the past about all of this, and then you're an organization though that helps people. I mean, we're an economically challenged city in many instances. All of us know that. I mean, there's no big surprise or big secret to it. So people need help, but the people who do want to advance or to improve their status in life, are looking for opportunities. And this is, to me, what I find so interesting about United Housing. You have a lot of programs that help a lot of people. And can you kind of go over a little bit of some of the things that because I mean, obviously with the loans and you help people who may have credit issues. You have classes for them to be able to improve their credit. You have you have an opportunity for people whose homes are needing repair to help them out. There's really a lot of opportunities here for people. So what you're telling people to me through your organization is, I know sometimes it feels like all hope is lost, but there are some opportunities out here. Am I correct?
That's right. I think that, we do provide a lot of resources that a lot of people don't know about, but I think that's the case with a lot of things. When you really need help, there's so many different ways you can go about finding, and then, when you're Googling something, so you can get lost sometimes. Yeah. But we provide a lot of different services, like you mentioned. But I think our flagship is the homeownership education. That class that teaches, it really just talks about and discusses things about the importance of your credit, all the way to how do you work with a realtor, how do you get mortgage ready and pre-qualified with a loan officer, and then to the home maintenance and home sustainability. I think we forget sometimes that, getting in the home is one thing, maintaining that
keeping
home
it up, the upkeep
over time is a huge piece of this. And so that's why I think it's really important that we have housing counselors on staff to work with you even after you're a homeowner to say, all right, well, what am I budgeting for? When it's about to get cold in the winter, I need to make sure I'm, what do I do with my pipes? What do I have to plan for HVAC and heating and air, all that stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it because it isn't a major investment. It's probably the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. Yeah. And you want to, just like anything else, you want to take care of that investment and hope that it grows. In order to do that, you have to maintain it. And so I think our classes just go beyond just credit coaching or just, here's the monthly mortgage you can afford. We go beyond that. Yeah. And we're really talking holistically about what it means to be a home buyer.
So education is clearly very, very important. I mean, I know people get excited about the fact, I have a roof over my head, but you're right. This is if you're going to be in there for any length of time, this is a lifelong occupation to be able to take care of a house and take care of yourself in it. I would imagine,
Yeah, and I think that it's if you value, it's about what you value. And I think, we provide financing in the term home repair loans, which can help you maintain it, but also our first mortgage. And I think a lot of the times people think and they get discouraged that they can't go to a bank or they're afraid to go to the bank. They might get turned down. They knew somebody they knew got turned down, so they don't want to do it. But I think you just don't know. And I think if you are scared or you don't understand like what you might need to look for, calling a housing counselor could be your best first step, and then you may qualify for a mortgage and you don't even know it. So.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, I want to. I mean, with this announcement in the Mound last week, working with the city, and I'm sure you all have had conversations with them. So what are you looking at as you're moving down the road here? This was a nice open. This was a nice opportunity, a nice something to get the attention of. And Congressman Cohen didn't come to everything. So I think having him there means that this is a serious effort. So what are we looking at in terms of down the road?
Yes, well, the congressman has always been very supportive of us, as well as Mayor Young. So I really thank them for being there. I think going forward, this wasn't a super easy project. We have this one lot that is zoned for residential,
right.
But we did have to go to the Office of Planning and Development. We had to get these plans approved.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had to go to the Land Use Control Board. Then we had to get it approved by council. All of this took time.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you have these steps because, you don't just want anything going up anywhere.
Right.
But, I think there's ways that we can, and hopefully this gets the conversation going about ways that we can streamline and make more efficient the process to get more homes built in the city.
Yeah.
We have to work together to do that. We have to work with the city of Memphis. We have to work with planning. We have to work with Memphis Light, Gas, and Water.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot of things, and the other nonprofits that do what we do. And for profits. I think there's a lot of things that we can do if we work together to make it happen. So going forward, I want to see more homes being built like this in other neighborhoods and in the county because they're going to be quality. They're also fully accessible for someone who may be challenged or have ability challenges, and so. This is a home that you can stay in, age in place. This is a home that you can feel good about. We're hoping to get started on that construction extremely soon and hopefully be done, early next year.
That is a good deal. Congratulations to you and all of the folks who were involved in this. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you heard this and you're thinking, I want to know more about this, they can reach out to you correctly at United Housing?
They can go to uhinc.org or call 901-272-1122.
Amy Schaftlein, ladies and gentlemen, the executive director of United Housing, joining us tonight. Also the host of Sonosphere, ladies and gentlemen, Monday evenings from 4 to 5 p.m. Is it 4 to 5? Is that what it is?
That's right.
Thank you, Amy, for being here. Really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna divert our normal. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna continue with the rest of our show. We have some great guests. We're glad you're here. We're glad Amy's here. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR, including our 2024 stereo sessions, comes from Independent Bank. For 25 years, iBank has supported the diverse and financial needs of its customers and the greater Memphis community. More information regarding how iBank can help you work toward your financial dreams at i-bankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you. We're doing things slightly different tonight because we had Amy in studio and she had to run. So we're sort of shifting things around. Now, my next guest will be the interim CEO of MATA. Bacarra Mauldin, and I need her to hang on for just a few more minutes until we get to that time. And you want to hear about what's going on with Matta, no doubt about that. But in the meantime, how about we get some birthdays out of the way? What do you say? And we have a lot of birthdays today, by the way. So we'll just say, Bryn, hit it. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Going out to the following folks. Jeanette Perry, very good friend of mine, a family friend, celebrating her birthday today down in Jackson, Mississippi. Penelope Houston, another friend, celebrating her birthday today. Erica Kelly, happy birthday to you. Mac Weaver, the man that runs Memphis in May, celebrating his birthday today. Rosalind Moore celebrating, as is Margaret Brazil, Carolyn Kenyatta, Michael Webb, Carolyn Lyons, Marcus Hunter, Sharon Webb, Linda Johnson, Vicki Goldman, Michael Martin, and Latoya Burns, all celebrating a birthday on the 19th day of this month. From all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, happy birthday. I hope this day has been filled with fun and laughter, and we hope to be with you next year as you make another trip around the sun. Thank you, Bryn. Quick look at news and notes. Well, today is a big day in Chicago, and I do wish I was there. The Democratic National Convention is officially kicked off. One of the big speakers tonight will be the current president, Joe Biden. He will speak tonight. That's going to be a very emotional speech, no doubt about that, for a lot of folks looking to see him. I believe Hillary Clinton will also be speaking tonight as well, as this thing kicks off in Chicago as they prepare to nominate the first woman of color in this country's history to be nominated as president of the United States. So quite a big week going on there in Chicago. Let me see here. Matta, we're going to talk a little bit about Matta. They shut down the trolley lines downtown yesterday. There were some issues that they had to deal with, having to do with some mechanical issues. But also this has to do with some budgetary concerns as well. Unfortunately, 17 people have been laid off as a result of that. We'll talk with Bacarra about that in just a couple of minutes. Last week, the Memphis and Shelby County Schools, and we'll be talking a little bit to somebody who's on that board here a little bit later on in the broadcast, hired an executive director of safety and security for the district. You remember last week the SROs, the school resource officers, the ones that provide security for your kids on a daily basis, they were going on strike because they didn't like the pay, they didn't like the way they were being treated, and the whole 9 yards. Well, they brought in a new executive director, so they thought, of security and the safety. And after 3 or 4 days, he decided over the weekend that he would put in his resignation. And he said that it was due to personal reasons. We have heard some whispers about some inappropriate dealings in terms of finance up there in Detroit. When something like this happens, there are always more questions than answers. And I don't know if there are going to be any further prying into all of this because he has formally resigned and moved on. But yeah, after 4 or 5 days, something was up. No doubt about that. So now they have to search for another leader in that particular area. That is a quick look at news and notes on this Monday evening. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to have a conversation with interim CEO of Matta. Her name is Bacarra Mauldin. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. You know who you are. Very happy to have you on board for the night. Hey, I see Councilwoman Pearl Walker is joining us on the Facebook Live line tonight, as is my guy, GKP Worth. He's on here as well. Mandrell, Myron Mays is also watching with it. He must have just stumbled upon this show. I'm not sure. Myron is one of my radio mentors, no doubt about that. Thanks for all of you to being with us tonight. Thanks for you keeping up with us this evening. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
Support for WYXR comes from Tresvent. Located in the heart of Memphis at 177 North Highland, Tresvent is where culture and community come together, offering independent living apartments and garden homes ranging from 650 to 3,000 square feet, as well as all levels of care in assisted living, memory support, and a 5-star health and rehab center. More information to schedule a tour at tresventmanor.org. Primus is coming to Memphis with special guest Fantastic Negrito on Tuesday, August 20th at Grind City Amphitheater. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com.
Hi, this is Clark Ortiz with Crosstown Brewing Company. You already know we're passionate about beer, and now we've added food on tap. Our new kitchen is open inside the brewery, serving wings, pizza, burgers, and more. Open for lunch Wednesday through Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Food and beer, a perfect match, just like our partnership with WYXR. More information at crosstownbeer.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you, and glad to have you with us. Also glad to have my next guest with us. Of course, we have heard for a while now about MATA and the financial struggles that they have been dealing with for quite a while. $60 million in the hole, which means that some changes had to be made. And we are very fortunate to have with us tonight the interim CEO of MATA. Her name is Bacarra Mauldin. And Bacarra, it's good to see you again. And thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and good evening.
Good evening to you. So the last couple of days have been pretty interesting. We all have known about, the deficit and everything. Now, when you took this seat, I want to back up a little bit here. When the former executive director left this organization, and they left it into your hands, were you aware of the financial issues that MATA was under at that time?
Not to this level. I knew that funding was tight. I knew that we had been underfunded, but $60 million deficit, no, I did not know anything about any of that. We didn't even have financials at the time, so I didn't know.
That is really a stunning way to come into a leadership position. Did you all have a financial manager there, a CFO, chief financial officer, somebody who's handling the books at that time?
There was no CFO at the time when I became interim. So I knew, as a prudent business, we had to have somebody that was managing the finances and that was creating those financial reports. And so I actually hired the CFO on my second day, actually.
Oh, wow.
It's my second day I hired the CFO. I hired the firm of J.S. Held, a nationally known accounting firm, and I got a forensic accountant actually to come in on the second day.
So speaking of forensic accounting, the mayor recently ordered a forensic accounting of your books over there to try to see what's going on. But it sounds to me like you've already sort of started to take that step on your own, correct?
I did. I started out the gate with the high level of accounting. But, I applaud Mayor Young for his steps. He is very attuned and attentive to what's going on in transit, and he's elevated the conversation, and that's honestly what it's going to take in order for us to move transit forward.
And having said that, there has to be some changes made in order to try to right the ship, so to speak. Yesterday, it was announced that you were suspending all the downtown trolley services. Now we got sort of kind of a double message here. One said that the Department of Transportation, TDOT, said that you needed to do something in reference to brakes. But there were also some financial considerations in this decision as well. Am I correct in that?
That is correct. We had a brake issue that had stemmed from an incident that took place last month where we had a brake failure. And TDOT did come in the investigation, and they did recommend a shutdown, or they gave me the option to install a backup braking system, which would be to the tune of $200,000 per trolley. And we have 6 trolleys, so that's $1.2 million. So it was a financial consideration in that.
Yeah.
I just did not think right now it would be prudent to take that money from our existing bus operation and put that into the trolley. And so I made the difficult decision to move forward with the shutdown.
Yeah, and again, that money would have been added to already existing debt, even more so. Unfortunately, correct. 7 individuals were laid off as a result of this yesterday. Correct, isn't that?
Actually, 18.
Oh, it was 18.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know where I got that. No, it was 18. Okay, that's right. So they were.
It was 18. Yeah. I thought it was 15 actually, but I found out later today that it was actually 18.
Even a little bit worse. So there had also been a conversation last week from your office about the possibility of removing at least 7 of your lower performing routes. From your schedule, the ones that don't really have a lot of passenger traffic back and forth. You said you were looking seriously at that. You made a decision about that, have you now?
We have not. That's actually a board decision. The board has the final choice in terms of how our service progresses, whether we eliminate routes. And so the way the schedule will work is we'll be moving for the board to prepare or to approve the budget. And then in September, we'll be moving forward with putting proposed route changes in front of them. And that's when the board will actually make that decision.
Okay, but we've been hearing all day, and I heard before I got here on the news that you all had made a decision and that 200 people were going to be affected by this route situation. If I'm not mistaken, there were 200 people, 7 routes, and you have a staff of a little over 500. But that 200. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
So in the budget, there's actually a head count.
Okay.
And so the head count within the proposed budget does include those staffing eliminations. There will be route reductions if this budget is passed.
Right.
But in terms of which routes will be eliminated, those decisions have not been finalized. In fact, we're having community meetings right now to get weigh-in from the public in terms of what routes we ultimately will recommend for consideration.
So is the number 7 accurate, or is that on the table?
It's on the table.
Okay.
It's 7. The number 7 is on the table, but
okay.
It could be more. It could be less.
So you're gonna have to make some very dramatic, serious decisions here. Is the number of 200 employees is that a feasible number, or is that some wiggle room there, or what?
That's a very feasible number. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt badly. Yeah. It's going to hurt operationally to completely dwarf our operation in that manner. It's going to hurt from a community standpoint. I mean, MATA is an important part of this community that is the lifeline for a lot of individuals, and we recognize that. And so it's going to hurt all the way around, and it's going to hurt personally. I mean, these are people that I've worked with for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. When I got to MATA. These are people that I see in the grocery store. These are people that I've laughed and talked with. And so it gives me no pleasure at all to basically have to engineer this type of decision.
So just to be clear, and just to make sure that the audience is clear who's listening to this right now, you have some things on the table, like you just mentioned, route reductions, personnel reductions, and the whole 9 yards. That decision has not definitively been made yet, and it won't be until the board meets to approve or one way or up or down one way or the other in terms of this. Am I correct?
Correct.
In that? Okay.
That is correct.
And when will that take place?
Well, the board will actually start discussing it publicly, the budget that is, tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow at the Finance Committee meeting. Okay. Tomorrow at 1:30.
Okay. So the discussions will start tomorrow.
Yes.
And then at what particular point in time will a firm decision on what has been proposed be made by them and you?
A firm decision should be made at next week's board meeting, which is August 27th at 3:30.
Okay. So we're really here now. We're at the point now. And this will save you in terms of a budget, in terms of a number. What are we talking about here in terms of an amount that this might save you?
We're talking about $20 million.
So cutting these routes and eliminating staff of about 200 plus people, give or take, will save you $20 million.
About $20 million.
Okay,
yes.
That's an awful lot of money, and that will get you closer to your operating budget, which is what exactly?
Our operating budget is $67.8 million.
Okay, all right, and so this will help obviously in that way. These are pretty deep cuts in a city that, as you mentioned, I mean, this will hurt on a lot of levels. This is an economically, we have economic issues in this city, and a lot of people, as I don't need to tell you, use your transit company for getting around. Whether it's going to work or whether it's going to the grocery store or what have you. So this is going to be a very, very difficult transition for most of these folks. Now, let me ask you this question. In terms of funding, you get funding from both the city council and the county board of commissioners. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We do, as well as the state of Tennessee and the federal government. Okay.
And at one particular point in time, many of the states received an overabundance of money when we were going through COVID. The federal government allocated millions and millions of dollars all over the country, right? And
yes.
Tennessee was a beneficiary of that. And I'm sure as they trickled things down, you got your fair share of money. COVID is no longer the issue it was 2 years ago, and things have dried up now. Is this kind of one of the other challenges that we're dealing with here?
Exactly. Our agency, just like agencies all across the country, received these funds, and they were wonderful when they were coming. But now that they've dried up, they really plugged the hole that existed before COVID even happened. Mm-hmm. And so they prolonged basically the inevitable. Which we would have been at this point, based on what we've seen in the financial reporting, we would have been at this point probably back in 2020 had it not been for COVID. And when the COVID funds came in, they were able to plug the hole. So now, fast forward, now that those funds have dried up, that's why we are where we are.
Would you say that there was, it seems to me that that's the case, was there some mismanagement here the last couple of years in terms of this? If you had the money, if you received the money from the state, I'm just trying to understand here, if you received the money from the state, that sort of got you square based, and now we find ourselves in this tremendous hole a couple of years later. Somebody wasn't a good steward of the money received. Am I jumping off the bridge with that or not? Or no?
Not so fast, because think about how inflation kicked in after COVID. Think about how inflation kicked in personally after COVID. How the cost of everything started to go up sky high.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so if the cost of everything personally started to go up, the same thing happened for the transit authority. The cost of diesel, the cost of tires, the cost of electricity, the cost of everything that we do to operate our system, it went up just like all of our personal bills. But with the funding staying level and your costs going up, that creates a space. And that space is the deficit.
Before I let you get out of here, once you get with the board does what they have to do, these eliminations are going to have to be made. There's still an issue of old buses. There's still an issue of the maintenance of the existing buses. There's still an issue of routes, because people complain about the fact that the communication issue is bad. They can't call anybody to find out if a bus is 30 minutes late, an hour late. I guess what I'm asking you is, are these major changes, major changes going to change the way MATA does business moving forward?
Yes. And let me tell you why. We're going back to basics. We're going back to basics in terms of how we communicate with our customers. We're going back to basics in terms of how we cover our routes. It is my expectation, and this has been shared with my team as we were putting these scenarios together. Number one, my cautionary words were, it better work. And number two, my expectation is that on-time performance will be in the 90 percentile instead of in the 60 percentile where it is now. Because our customers do deserve better. And we sincerely apologize for all the inconveniences that the customers have experienced. And we need to do this so that we can get better, and so that we can be sustainable, have a solid foundation that we can grow on. We need to go through this exercise so that people will feel better about investing more money in our organization so that we can grow. This is, unfortunately, as painful as it is.
Yeah.
This chapter is a necessary one in order for us to be able to move forward for 50 more years. We'll be 50 years old next year. And this is a key part of ensuring that we're around for 50 years from now.
Do you see a time, if this works, if things start to level out, if as you say, the contributions from the places where you look to get funding, starts to pick up a little bit? Do you see a time where you may pick up additional routes, or may have to rehire some folks and things like that? Sounds like that might be your hope for the future.
That is absolutely my hope for the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because Memphis, our service area is 280 square miles.
Right.
And so in order for us to serve that well, we're going to have to grow. But that's going to also call for the investment to grow. And so hopefully through continued direct investment, maybe, dedicated funding sources and things like that, we hope to be able to raise our budget so that we can bring some of our family members back to MATA, and so that we can reinstitute some of those routes, including the trolleys one day.
Well, listen, this is a tough time for you all and a lot of folks who are going to be affected by this. But I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and to publicly talk about this, which is not, I'm sure, an easy conversation to have right now. But we wish you the best, and we wish MATA the best. It is a jewel in this city, and people do need it. And we hope that whatever happens down the road will eventually make things better for all of us. And so I really appreciate you, Bacarra, for coming on the show tonight. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me. And we look forward to sharing more updates as we evolve.
Absolutely that. You're welcome back on this show anytime. In the meantime, you be careful and have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bacarra Mauldin, ladies and gentlemen. Mauldin, she is the interim CEO of MATA. And a very frank conversation about a very real discussion about some of the needs that they have. And unfortunately, some folks are going to be the recipients of some bad news in reference to not only employment, but bus routes as well. We'll keep a close eye on it, and we'll keep you posted. Let's take our final break. And when we come back, we will continue on this Monday edition of what's the name of this show? Real Talk Memphis. I forget sometimes. Anyway, but I don't forget you. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
Country musician Sierra Farrell is bringing her Shoot for the Moon tour to Memphis, Tennessee, where she'll be on stage at the Overton Park Shell on Saturday, August 24th during the Shell Yeah Benefit Concert Series. All proceeds directly support and empower the mission of the Overton Park Shell. More information and tickets can be found at overtonparkshell.org/shellyeah.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
It's real talk. 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 It's real talk.
And welcome back to the big broadcast, Real Talk Memphis, on this Monday evening. Chip with you, and very happy to have my next guest. We had some municipal elections here about 2 weeks ago or so, and there were a couple of surprises in the school board races. One of the biggest ones was in District 2, where the incumbent lost her seat. And she has been replaced, or will be replaced here in just a couple of weeks, September 1st, by one of the newest school board members. Her name is Natalie McKinney, and she joins me now. And Natalie, it's great to see you. Welcome to Real Talk Memphis. How are you tonight?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for inviting me, and it's good to see you again.
Absolutely. So you're sitting in the District 2 chair now, or you will be soon. You will be soon.
Well, I will be.
Yeah,
I will be.
Absolutely. And of course, school just started, so there's a whole lot on the plate and a lot of agenda. A lot of things have been happening. We have a new school board superintendent, but I want to back up a minute and ask you what it was that made you decide that you wanted to run for this seat and be a part of this board.
I think I've said this the whole time, I think we had an opportunity. We had a shift for potentially 5 seats, which would make up the majority of the board. We had a new superintendent coming in, and we have a lot of work to do. And so I thought that this would be a great time for us to actually get work done and focused in on students. I think that we missed a couple of opportunities a few times. And so I felt that I could lend my support in the way of being elected to District 2 school board seat.
There's been, obviously, and all of us know, there's been a lot of interest is what is happening educationally, especially with Dr. Marie Fagans, the new superintendent of education, who came in and made some pretty dramatic moves right away. First of all, what was your take on how she approached all of this with the realignment and letting folks go and trying to fill these seats, which, by the way, there's still 300 to 400, about 400, vacancies in the classroom teaching area of things. But what was your take on how she handled that?
Well, I think, again, still on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
My thought was that I think there was always some changes that need to happen. I don't know whether they're the right ones yet, and that's time will tell. But I knew things had to happen because we had to cut and we knew this. We knew back in November of 2023 that we had to cut. We had to cut some things. I think the how. I'm not so certain that we all understood the how.
Right.
That was done or agreed. Yeah.
So you're gonna take the seat in September 1st. What are some of the things that you mentioned that you see some things? You've been watching this for a while. You've been observing some things. What are some of the things you want to change or want to help to effectuate in reference to change for our schools and for our students?
What I'd like to see is that our board begins to understand its role. and responsibility as a governance structure, and that we focus in on developing a strategic plan that incorporates academics, operations, facilities, and also a fiscal sustainability plan. So I think first we got to learn how to be a board and do the governance. And we need to learn how to do that together. No one person has any more authority than the other. Matter of fact, no one person can do anything. 5 people, we got to learn how to count, right? 5 people have to make that decision. And I think we need to make sure that if we are trying to raise the test scores, and I really don't like trying to make sure that our students can read, they can write, that when they graduate, they have options and choices, that we're creating critical thinkers and adaptive learners, then we have to have a strategic plan.
In reference to that, obviously, and you mentioned it, reading levels low here, no doubt. Math levels low here. We also have issues with students going to school. We have absenteeism at pretty high levels. We have truancy at pretty high levels. And those are just a few of the things that are on top of the list. How do we get people to understand? And when I say people, I mean parents, I mean community partners. I mean, everybody has to play a role in all of this in order for us to be a successful a school district. But I mean, how do we emphasize that parents need to be more accountable for what their children are doing? And matter of fact, making sure they come to school on a daily basis and try to get the education they need. What do you want to see happen in terms of the community? What are you charging the community with? Because you know they're charging you with responsibility as well.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. This is something that we all have to do together. But before we can do that together, we have to figure out what the issues are, and we have to figure out whose role and responsibility those things are to do the thing. So one of the things I challenge people with is that the school system's expertise and resources are geared towards educating your child. We don't have the expertise to do the mental health. We don't have the expertise to ensure that parents are getting the things that they need, like local living wage jobs or transportation or access to food. And all of these systems have to align so that we can actually hold parents accountable to ensuring that children are getting to school every day, engaged and ready to learn. So think about this, Chip. If I am not making a local living wage, and who's the person who's paying me that? It's the businesses, right? If they're not willing to pay me enough so that I can have one job, that means I have to have multiple jobs to make sure that I have food on the table and a roof over my children's heads.
Right.
I have to be gone for most of the day and night to ensure that then I'm not there in the home. So we have to figure out what's the solve for that, right? And that requires multiple systems to work together to get that done.
We've heard a lot of things, in reference to the start. You mentioned that there were 4 new people elected to the school board. Obviously, your job as a body is to be on the same page, and everybody sort of needs to be on one accord as to how we move this thing forward. Your job and your task is to oversee the superintendent of education. That's your job, to make sure that she does her job. And it sounds like you're looking to take that very, very seriously. In reference to all of this, have you had a chance to meet the superintendent yet?
Yes, I have. I had a wonderful conversation with her for about an hour, and just to get to know her, get to know her personally. I think you always want to be able to have a personal relationship with someone when you have to do this hard work.
Sure.
So we have to begin to build that trust, the level of trust. So I wanted to make sure that I was also there to let her know that, my questions were, what are your expectations from us as a board? How can we support you? Because if she gets it right, then our kids get it right, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got to be able to support her to do that. And so I'm looking forward in figuring out how we do that.
When this school year ends in June or May of 2025, what will be your expectations? What would you like to look back and see from the time you start on this board until the time the school year ends? What are your expectations in this?
My
in this first year?
expectations is that we have a clear strategic plan so that everybody understands. We have a budget that everyone understands and that is actually aligned to our strategic goals and objectives. I want to see that we are working together as a board. And, that's the whole point why we're a representative democracy. So we have these 9 people representing the entire school district. And we each have perspectives and experience and expertise that we can bring to bear on some hard decisions that we're going to have to make. So I want to see that we're able to work through that as a working board.
So one of the things that many people have talked about and been challenged, when the school first started, we didn't start off that great. 12 schools had to be dismissed early the first day because the air conditioning was out and it was blisteringly hot. Infrastructure issues have been around for a very long time because we have some very old schools in this district. Is that one of your priorities as well, to take a look at that?
Yes. So it's not only just academics, but I think I've mentioned in the strategic plan our infrastructure.
Right.
And this is again where we need to be clear before we start knocking buildings down, selling buildings. We need to understand what's our growth plan. We need to work with the county and the city. What's the plan? Where are we trying to develop homes and where are we trying to develop businesses? So what I don't want us to do is just get in a situation where we're just looking in this at, just through this blinder and through this one lane, right?
Right.
We need to look at the full picture because we don't want to knock a building down over here and 10 years later find out, we needed a building over here because we didn't talk to the planners, right? So I've heard the mayor say that he wants to grow this city. Yeah. And that means, so you're going to have families.
Well, listen, it's great to have you on the show. It sounds like we're gonna have to watch you. You sound like you fired up and ready to go. And
I said ready day one.
That's what I'm saying, ready day one. Listen, thank you for coming on the show. This is your first trip. I hope it's not your last. I hope we can get you back down the road once you get in and get settled and everything. We'll start moving forward.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, appreciate you for coming. Thank you so much, and for being here tonight. And congratulations on winning this seat. And we look forward to great things from you down the road.
Thank you, Chip.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up a great show tonight, I think, if I do say so myself, as Bryn plays us out. Listen, thank you for being a part of this as well. It's always important that, we try to bring the guests on this show that make a difference in this city. We have a lot of challenges. We have some up points and we have some down points and we have some mid points, but we try to get to all of it on this show. And I appreciate your support. If you like what we do, as I say each and every week, and you feel like this is a show worth investing an hour of your time in every Monday evening, go out and tell somebody. Really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you. So for Brand, for Lola, and for yours truly, have a great week. Be safe out there. Watch out for yourself and watch out for other folks. And if the Lord says so, I'll be back here next week. We'll try to do it all over again, just a little bit better. So for all of us at Real Talk Memphis, I'm Chip, and we are out. Have a good week.